Hello farmers and aspiring farmers, thank you for tuning into yet another informative edition of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030, where we give each other ideas in agriculture on how as a country, as an economy, we can attain Vision 2030 of becoming an upper middle class economy. Now, one way we cannot ignore when it comes to becoming an upper middle class economy is to by having everyone have access to food. We are talking of food security every day and everywhere. The mantra that is being led by our Land Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. At this point in time, I am coming to you from Mashonaland East, Marondera, at Donville Cattle Ranch. I have taken the liberty of inviting Miss Netta, the owner here at Donville Cattle Ranch. Miss Netta, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
We are talking of commercial dairy production here in Zimbabwe. As we get into our discussion, maybe a brief background. When did this start? How did you start? How many cows did you have? The number of employees that you have, be it female, be it male, and a general rundown of your activities.
Donville Cattle Ranch started in 2018. Actually, we started with 13 cows. With 13 cows, we just realized that we might need to step up a little bit because you cannot realize any profits with only 13 cows.
Yes.
So we decided to do Boran breeding for beef cattle, but only for seed and not for meat. So when we started breeding Boran cattle, we just had one bull that inseminated our 13 cows. So from 13 cows, currently we have a Boran head of 260.
Okay.
Yes. So from there, then we realized we are not getting much profit on a day-to-day basis. We now had too many workers to take care of the cows, and we ourselves as investors, we needed something. So we thought maybe let's try dairy. We were invited by the EU project to apply for cows. We applied for 10 cows, but unfortunately, because we were new in the dairy industry, we only got one cow. So that one cow, we realized that we have to move to a closer place where we can be able to market our milk and everything. So that's when we decided to rent this farm, which is in Somerset. So we left our original farm in Chaka Hills with the other cattle. Then we brought one cow here. So with that one cow, we were milking 20 liters a day, and we were selling the milk at the market.
Okay.
Like for the people in the community for 20 liters. Then we realized, I think we can get money on a day-to-day basis to run our operations from milk.
Okay.
That's when we started investing from our other business, family business. We started investing in buying cows. And now from one cow, we are currently milking 68 cows.
Okay.
Yes, and we have a total of around 107 cows. Some are on the dry, some are heifers, but the others most of them are still calves that we are breeding at this farm for the future of our dairy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of your output per day, what are we looking at? Is the output matching the level of investment in terms of feed and in terms of the number of cows that you have?
I think as a new farmer, and we're only 2 years old, we are okay. We can meet our costs at the farm at the moment, so I think we are okay. But we would wish that the producer price would go a little bit high, so we cushion ourselves from the fuel prices and from the cost of feed. But at the same time, we also have to come up with other strategies to survive. For example, if the cost of feed is high, the cost to buy the bag, we have to do our own pastures. So so we have to go on and improvise so that we make the price of feed very low so that we realize profits. Otherwise, if you rely with producers only, you will be working for other people and you won't gain as much as you can unless if you are doing something.
Now, Miss Netta, you would find that those who are watching are interested in figures. They want to know from the 68 cows that you are milking, roughly a day, how many liters are you getting? And also, kuti musike kuma liters iwayo, chikafu chakambomira sei, mombe 1 yamunoti I mombe yakanyatsosvika, inodya ma kgs mangani?
We have such big animals here.
Yes.
So firstly, our production at the moment is not what we are expecting. It's a little bit low because of the heat stress. But at the same time, we are doing 1,000 liters a day with 68 cows. Our expectation is around 1,600 per day. But we are getting there. So because the cost of feed is very high, we have managed to do some silage for us to cushion ourselves. So this silage is helping us. At least we have the bag, and then we add with silage, which is low cost because we did it ourselves. So for one cow, like our cows are very big, as you can see, the frames are very big. So they eat a lot, like about 25 kgs per day for a big cow. Yes.
Now, to those who are watching, we have people in the diaspora who are excited. Business. For someone who wants to start, what is your advice in terms of even the cows to start with, the infrastructure that they need to invest in? Kuna mumwe anoti nditori nemari ndokwasototanga ne100. You know, when some people start vanotanga vaine enthusiasm with the overzealousness inenge iripo. So your word of advice in terms of the infrastructure that one needs to invest in kuti commercial dairy ive successful, number one. Number two, the number of cows you would advise munhu ari kutanga. You are telling us kuti when you started to apply makapuwa 1 and you had to work your way up to 13. Now you are milking 68 cows. Can you talk to us in terms of the level of investment, in terms of infrastructure, the number of cows that someone who is new in the business can look to invest in?
Okay, I have a little bit of a different approach when it comes to dairy farming. You know, dairy farming it's not a common thing here in Zimbabwe. So usually if you start big, you might fail and you might be disappointed.
Yes.
So because the cost of structures is very high, it's better to start where you are. I'm not saying everyone should start with one cow, but at least start with something that you can manage. It's just like children. If you have one child, the firstborn, you learn their needs, you learn what they want, and you learn how to navigate your way through their health and everything. The same with our cows, they are just like children. So if you have a few that you can manage, I think that's the better option to take. If you take 100 cows and all of them, they get sick at the same time, you won't be able to manage them, and you lose, and you end up saying dairy is a difficult business. But if you start small, even for the infrastructure, you can actually milk 200 cows with hands before you start investing in the big milking systems that cost around from 35,000 to 40 to 200,000. That's a lot of money. If you have it, it's okay. But for you to gain the experience, it's better to start small. You take one step at a time. This is what helped us here. Our one cow, we knew, there is mastitis. So how do we deal with mastitis? If there are now 5 cows with mastitis, how do we contain them? So I think it's better. For me, that's a different approach that I would take to dairy farming.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Neta. I understand that you're a very busy person with a very tight schedule, but you saw it fitting to come on to agribusiness and showcase your work and talk to our Zimbabwean farmers in terms of the beauty that comes with investing in dairy production. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
On that note, viewers, have come to the end of the first segment. We're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the second segment. Stay tuned. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, in support of Vision 2030. Today, we are looking at commercial dairy production here in Zimbabwe. I am coming to you from Mashonaland East at Donville Cattle Ranch, where they are undertaking dairy production commercially and as a business. At this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting Antoinette Chingwe. She is going to be taking us through the nitty-gritties of dairy production. But before we do that, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore. It's on 0772807506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. Make a follow-up on this episode and more, and leave your comments and suggestions. They are most welcome to us. Our YouTube channel is Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also now available on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's Agribusiness 110. Now, Antoinette, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Wadzanai.
Yes. As we get into this discussion, Antoinette, you are a policy officer. Can you talk to us in terms of the output that is acceptable per farm or per farmer for a farmer to be considered, or to have vehicles come to their farm and ferry milk to wherever it is taken to?
Thank you, Wadzanai. All right. So when it comes to milk collection, usually they would want a significant amount of milk to be collected. Usually most farmers, when it comes to large scale and medium scale, they manage to get those amounts so that the delivery vehicle can come and collect directly to them. However, when it comes to small scale, usually they fail to meet the expected quantities for a vehicle to come to each farm. So usually they make use of aggregators, which are usually housed with the medium scale or large scale farmers, whereby the small scale they deliver their milk during the week or during the day to an aggregator, who is usually a medium scale or a large scale. When they bring that milk together, when it reaches the required quantities, then the delivery vehicle can then come to pick their milk from there.
So what does it take in terms of amount, in terms of liters, for a vehicle or a truck kudiriwe per farm, number one? Number two, what is the reasonable amount of cows that a farmer can start with kuti anzi akupinda mchirongwa chedairy?
Thank you, Wadza. So there are different sizes of trucks that can come to collect milk from a farm. The smallest being a 5,000. We also have 2,500, but mainly it's the 5,000 liter truck that comes to fetch milk from the farmer. So basically, we can say the minimum quantity of milk that you have to put together within a period of 48 hours should be 5,000 liters.
Okay.
Yes. Then when it comes to a viable enterprise, if you are starting, we usually recommend farmers to start with five cows, milking cows. When it comes to your head, it has to consist of 5 milking cows so that you are able to break even.
So what are we looking at in terms of maybe pricing per liter, the range or the variations of the prices according to quality?
So when it comes to pricing, it's actually a hot issue that affects dairy. For viability, the price has to be good. And currently the price is pegged at 60 cents per liter. That is the average price. However, depending on the quality of milk, farmers can get more than 60 cents per liter, and some farmers can actually get less than if they are not producing good quality milk.
Okay.
Good quality milk. So it's a burning policy issue that we are actually taking negotiations with various stakeholders to also see the revision of that price, because it has been at 60 cents for the last 5 years.
Okay.
Yet actually the price of the milk output, the UHT milk that you buy in the shops, it has been going up, yet this average price for the farmers has been stagnant at 60 cents. So it's a policy issue that we are working with different ministries and stakeholders as well. Then when it comes to feed is an important component when it comes to the output of milk. We recommend that farmers give food that is rich in protein to their cattle. But however, in terms of the exact type of food, it is something that is discussed by the farmer. We usually advise farmers that they have to engage a nutritionist or get assistance from our association extension officers who help them with the specific mixing of feed that they require for their cattle to produce enough milk.
What are some of the issues that are within our dairy industry and some of the remedies that you have come with to ensure that dairy production is viable and sustainable for our local farmers?
Like I indicated earlier, feed is an important component. Hence the major challenge also is associated with feed. The cost of feed constitutes about 80% of the cost of production for a dairy farmer. So that's the major challenge. However, when it comes to feed, most farmers are being encouraged to work on on-farm feed formulations where they do mixing of feed at the farm. It's much cheaper than buying concentrates from that are already finished products.
Okay.
Then also another major challenge, dairy requires, it's actually thrives from the survival of the cold chain.
Yes.
So that means it requires power. So power challenges are a major threat to dairy, ranging from it requires lots of water, so there's pumping of water that is required. We need that milk to remain fresh from production up through the supply chain, so there is need for power. In order to address issues to do with power, people are also moving into modern technology where we are making use of solar power, solar systems, which are more sustainable and viable. Also, we continuously advocate and lobby with the government for a fair working environment, as cost of compliance is also a critical issue that affects people in dairy businesses. So we continuously lobby with the government. We knock at their doors, and we are happy that they have an open door policy. We keep knocking and we keep discussing those issues.
Thank you so much. Finally, Antoinette, maybe to those that want to start or venture into dairy farming production, what is your word of advice, your sentiments in your capacity as a policy officer?
Thank you. In terms of farmers wanting to invest in the dairy industry, my word of advice is it requires the passion.
Yes.
It requires the passion. You have to be a lover of cows. You have to love milk. So basically, when you have that passion in you and it's driving you into it, go ahead and do dairy. Also, it's important to seek advice. That's why we always open our doors through our association, and we have extension officers around the country to assist you. You require that assistance when you're starting up.
Thank you so much, Antoinette, for taking your time to come onto our platform and educate our Zimbabwean farmers in terms of the opportunities and also the challenges that come with investing in the dairy industry. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you, Wadzanai.
On that note, we have come to the end of the second segment. We're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in that third and final segment. Stay tuned. Thank you, farmers and aspiring farmers, for tuning in to yet another informative edition. We are here in the third and final segment of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, where we are looking at commercial dairy production here in Mashonaland East. At this point in time, I've taken the liberty of inviting Tendai Mtambiranwa. He is a field officer working with commercial dairy farmers here in Mashonaland East. We are in Marondera today at Danville Farm. Mr. Tendai Mtambiranwa, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Wadzanai.
Yes. As we get into this discussion, I understand that you cover maybe a certain area with farmers classified as smallholder farmers, medium, then we have the large scale. In terms of numbers, can you just give us a rough rundown of the numbers that we have in those categories? And also in terms of categorizing those farmers, what do we look at? Do we look at the number of cows? Do we look at the liters? What qualifies a farmer in a certain category?
Thank you, Wadzanai. Here in Marondera or Mash East region, we have got around 15 large-scale commercial farmers in dairy. Then in medium-scale farmers, around 10. Then small-scale farmers, we've got quite a number of those small-scale farmers, around 50
of
the small-scale farmers.
Okay.
Then when classifying the small-scale, the large-scale, and the medium-scale, we don't usually use the number of mombis or cattle, but we use the number of liters they produce. Starting with the small-scale farmers, a small-scale farmer is classified to a farmer who produces 1 liter to 200 liters.
Okay, per day.
Per day.
Okay.
Then going up to medium scale farmers, they produce 200 to 500 liters per day. Then large scale farmers, they start from 500 going upwards.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you so much for such a detailed presentation. You have demystified. Some of us didn't know that you do not classify or categorize these farmers because of the cattle that you have. Yes. And from what I am taking, you can have 10 cattle but giving you less than 500 liters that is required for a certain category. Moving right along, in your interactions with these dairy farmers, what are your duties like?
We have got quite a number of duties. First and foremost, we do trainings.
Yes.
We train these farmers on different aspects of dairy management. That is clean milk production, breeding, calf rearing.
Now, looking at general management, I want us to talk of the pests, diseases that are a menace in dairy cattle, and also some of the chemicals or the active ingredients in chemicals that you normally recommend to your farmers kuti mukatarisa mombe munoti iyi iri kuda mushonga wakati. What are some of those insect pests and diseases that are a menace in dairy cattle production, and the active ingredients in chemicals that you recommend to your farmers?
Yeah, sure. In dairy animals, we usually have problems with ticks, some ticks. Yeah, tick-borne diseases like January disease, heart water, gold sickness, just to mention a few. Then we recommend farmers or urge farmers to dip their animals on weekly basis, so that we do away with this pest or disease or some ticks. We recommend farmers to use different 3 or 2 or more different tip dips. Yes. So it's either at the farm you use Triatix, next time you use Systemax, next time you use another one.
So you're always alternating.
Yes, alternating, so that we cut the resistance of these ticks.
Do we have any tricks in dairy production whereby you say to a farmer, if you do this, your output is going to be increased? Or when you get to a farm, you say your output ne mombe dzandakatarisa iri low, it could be caused by such and such. When it comes to increasing the output of milk or the liters per head, what are some of the strategies or tactics that you usually tell your growers?
Yeah, generally we encourage farmers to feed their animals with the recommended type of feed.
Yes.
And at the same time, we also urge these farmers to try by all means to reduce the cost of production,
yes,
so that they'll have something in their pocket. Then we train them to formulate their own farm feed formulations,
yes,
using the available resources that they can get, maybe surrounding in their surroundning areas.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, finally, as we close this segment, Mukoma Tendai, when you go to certain farms, you work with different farmers.
Sure.
Pane mumu amunotarisa mota uya ake kuda zve dairy ka, but ava vafoira afa. Kana kuti when you look at someone and say, I'm proud of this one. But sometimes when your supervisors come or when people want to do field tours, munoto recommend that hande kwa mai ningi because varunyatso zvigona. Some of those that you look at and say this is failure. Ndezvipi zvamunotarisa kuti munoti avakundikana. Mutasa konoti avari kubudirira vane future ava mu dairy production.
Yeah. When you go to a farm, we have to see how they are managing their dairy cattle. Because when you get to a farm, you mustn't see very thin animals, sickly thin animals. Definitely it means that the farmer is not doing it properly. But then we don't say it's a failure
or cast him out of the system.
No. We try by all means to advise the farmer how to improve. Like for instance, we get to a farm, the farmer is having 200 mombes and they are very thin, and what we try to advise him to reduce the numbers of those mombes, so that he can just left with the ones
he can focus his resources on.
Yes, he can manage to feed.
Okay,
those who are
doing well.
Otherwise, we encourage them to improve, even to aid on those numbers, so that we can get a lot of milk. Because generally, we want more milk and more animals to sell to other guys.
Okay, Thank you so much, Mukoma Tendai, for taking your time and educating our viewers in terms of commercial dairy production.
Thank you, Wazanai. Thanks.
From me, your host Wazanai Manyore. I'm also on Instagram. It's W Manyore, and the crew behind the scenes. Have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.